Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Ladar Gavei-Lazi, and before we begin, I want to again remind you about our all-new streaming platform, ILTV+. Thousands of you have already signed up, and we're so honored to receive your support. More than that, though, by supporting ILTV+, you're supporting our efforts to grow and deliver more unique content, highlighting the truly amazing things Israel has to offer. This, including daily morning briefings, exclusive interviews, virtual tours, live streams, and more. And there'll be no ads and no special interests. So again, sign up today at iltv.tv or through all the app stores, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire. Full episodes of ILTV content will no longer be made available on YouTube and social media. And now, coming up in today's newscast. Health officials announced the first case of the highly contagious Delta subvariant of the coronavirus in Israel. Tensions rising again between Palestinians and police in the Old City. And warming ties. Are Israel and the United Arab Emirates heading to space together? In an almost unbelievable and tragic accident, a young man fell to his death from a hot air balloon on Wednesday. The victim, identified as Yogev Cohen in his late 20s from Kibbutz Israel in the north of Israel, he was a member of the balloon's ground crew responsible for stabilizing the basket before takeoff. Yet he was seen on video dangling and clutching to the basket in mid-air on Route 60 before police said he fell to his death, hitting the road and a passing car from a height of tens of meters. All the passengers in the hot air balloon and those in the car were unharmed, and the balloon was able to make a safe landing. Police said the circumstances surrounding his death are being investigated, as it was not clear why he was holding onto the basket when the balloon took off, and why, according to a preliminary investigation, he didn't jump off when the balloon was still near the ground. In COVID-19 related news, health officials on Tuesday evening announced that the first case of the AY.4.2 Delta subvariant of the coronavirus has now been found in Israel. The highly contagious variant was identified in an 11-year-old boy who returned from Moldova. Now, as the fourth wave is seemingly in decline, what could this mean? Joining us now to discuss is Professor Cyril Cohen, head of the Immunotherapy Lab at Bar Ilan University. Welcome.
Hello.
So let's jump right in. What exactly is this new strain?
Yeah, so basically, we know that today I would say the variant that is widespread and most common in the world is the Delta variant. And obviously, since mRNA, or I would say RNA viruses tend to develop new variants, so now we have descendants of that Delta and descendants of the descendants. So basically, this AY4.2 is a grandchild of the Delta variant we know of, and there was a report from I would say UK Health Ministry last Friday that stated that amongst the 56 descendant of the original Delta variant, there is one that is becoming more and more common in the UK, totaling around 10% of the daily cases, and this is that AY4.2. So amongst the descendants, this is the one that is spreading faster.
I mean, this seems a little bit like a repeat of what we heard when the Delta variant first came out. So far, Israel seems to have it under control with just one case. But should we be worried? I mean, could there be other cases perhaps that are undetected?
Yeah, most likely there might be some cases, especially that now people are traveling abroad, coming back. A PCR at Ben Gurion Airport is not, I would say, the ultimate way to detect, if you are importing a variant, because you could have been contaminated an hour before your flight and you will be negative when tested at Ben Gurion Airport, but then within a few days you will develop that variant. So it is well possible that that we have more cases in Israel. But on the other hand, what we know so far about that variant is that it is a bit more contagious, not a lot contagious. I would say 10%. These are actually the estimations, 10% more contagious than the original Delta variant, which is different from what we knew, for example, if we were to compare the Delta and the Alpha variant. The Delta variant was 60% more contagious than, I would say, the Alpha variant. So it's not much more contagious. Second thing that we don't know yet is to what extent the vaccines are effective in preventing the spread of that new variant. We believe that there is, we can assume that the vaccines will be to some extent efficient because the mutations in that new variant are not predicted at this point to hinder the effectiveness of the vaccine.
I mean, that technically is the million-dollar question, whether the vaccine will be effective against this new strain. And, you know, as I said, the fourth wave is nearly behind us, but soon coming up, flu season in Israel, this new strain of the Delta variant. Are we looking perhaps at a fifth wave this winter?
It is very difficult to say. It's true that we have to take into account that we are always at the mercy of a new variant. We knew that in June, when we finished with the Alpha variant, suddenly the Delta variant appears. So that's why we are to be cautious and we are to maintain measures like, you know, mask wearing, like distance, especially in the winter where we are a lot more indoors than outdoors. So yes, this could be, I would say, the beginning of a period where we will have some fluctuations in terms of contamination. We will see. I don't want to make any predictions. I want to stay optimistic. I do believe that with the booster shot that, you know, 40%, even more of the Israeli got, we have another wall of protection against, you know, the COVID-19. But let's wait and see.
Now, this government seems to be continually easing restrictions. Do you think this is the right move, especially now given this new Delta variant?
Yeah, I hear you. I would say, I don't know if we are constantly, I think that we are trying to find the right balance between measures and routine. I think that when cases are going down, because we are around 1,000, you know, daily cases, you know, today, which is much better than what we were like a month and a half ago with 10,000 cases. I think that there is room to ease some of the regulations, but we shouldn't make the mistake of canceling everything, you know, back to normal. One of the other, I would say, main questions we have today is what is going to happen in schools, because we had that pilot of the green classroom that we're not sure that it is as efficient as it should be, because we have noted that there is a lack of participation of the parents in that pilot project. So, I mean, this is one of the most important questions to answer today. Can we get back to normal? I think that we are just trying to find the equilibrium between those two states. It's going to take, you know, more time, but we're not, you know, the only one in that case. You know, around the world, we are trying to find the way to live with COVID-19.
All right, Professor Cyril Cohen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you very much.